Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us. Have you ever been in a situation where you expected God to act in a particular way, but were so disappointed or devastated because God did not? When it comes to God, we should know by now to expect the unexpected. You cannot put God in a box. You cannot expect Him to act in a particular way only. His sovereignty is without limit. It is perfect. It is absolute. It is not whimsical and cannot be dictated by human wants or even desires. Sometimes when we pray for something, we ask God in a way that we tell God that this is how we want Him to answer. And that cannot be the case because God is sovereign over everything. Remember that God is God and we are not. We may not understand why God did the unexpected, but we should trust His will and His purposes. Paul was a Pharisee who persecuted Christians. He was feared by Christians during their time because of his widespread reputation as a persecutor. He watched as Stephen was being stoned to death for his faith. One day, while Paul was traveling to Damascus, God did the unexpected. He chose Paul to be His messenger to the Gentiles. Jesus spoke to Paul, touched his heart, and the number one persecutor of the Christians was transformed to be a passionate follower and servant of Jesus. He was appointed by God to be His apostle to the Gentiles. But before his conversion, he was not the likely choice to be an apostle. Nor can you find anything in the Bible that tells us that the people or any of the Christians ever considered him to one day be a passionate follower of Jesus. Even after his conversion, the believers did not immediately appreciate Paul, and they remained suspicious and distrustful of him. I believe that there were many who were wondering why God even chose Paul and not someone else. But God did the unexpected to bring salvation to the Gentiles. In 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 12, God also did the unexpected. God chose for Himself a king among the sons of Jesse. He chose David, the youngest son. He was not a warrior like his brothers, but he tended sheep. While the Israelites were fighting the Philistines, God used David to lead the Israelites to victory in their battle against the Philistines. David was not the choice of Saul or even his brothers. He was a shepherd, only a young man compared to his brothers. But he fought and killed Goliath. And many perhaps were fearful that God had placed their future in the hands of a shepherd boy. But God did the unexpected to bring victory to His people. Trusting God to be God allows us to appreciate people who we do not like or do not trust. Just as the Christians learned to appreciate Paul, whom they were suspicious of at first, but later realized the power of God at work in his life, and David, who they thought was too inexperienced to fight a Goliath, God chooses leaders totally unexpected, through whom God can work through their weakness and accomplish His good purposes. Have you encountered situations in your life where God did the unexpected, and you just wanted to ask God to help you understand His purpose? Best thing to do is to trust God to be God. Ask God to help you to trust and worship, even though you do not completely understand His ways. As a nation, we are about to enter a new chapter in our history. To many, the recent events were totally unexpected, and there is growing uncertainty in what the future would bring. But our verse tells us that God is able to do far more abundantly than what we expect, ask for, or even think of. And we can have peace and rest knowing that God is in control, because when God does the unexpected, our only response is to trust God, because God is God. Good night, God bless you, and God bless our beloved Philippines.